Hello, here's recording of a 380 CSCI 380 web programming interface. And for today, we will go slightly deeper about the JavaScript event or some like coding. Okay, so when we talk about the JS events, actually the action or the occurrence like they happen in the browser. Okay, so we can try to detect or respond to like some using Java code. Okay, so those events can be triggered by some user interaction. So no matter the user click on the buttons, press the key, or move the mouse to somewhere. So maybe the browser itself, or like loading the page, refresh, all these can trigger the event. So when we talk about the events that we have different types, right? Okay, one is called the user interaction event, so including the mouse event. So when the user like click it, so we trigger when the element is like clicked, or the we call the DBL double kick. Okay, so DBL kick. So it's a and then or something like a mouse over. Okay, so maybe trigger when the mouse like pointer move over an element or mouse out. So like here's the difference like, between the mouse over where they put it on it like move it over. Okay, the button. Okay, some element or mouse over. That means trigger the pointer leave an element. So when we leave, so what's the action we're going to do? And more maybe about the keyboard event. Okay, so including the key down. So when we press it, so when the key like press down, so or they press up when you bounce up, so release. So we have different way to detect. So and also we have the key press. So we trigger is the key is pressed. Okay, but for this one they kind of like depreciate. So in Kevlar we have key down and key up. And the benefits they compared to key press because we want to have a different um um maybe functions to trigger. Okay, if for key down I'll do something. When the keys up I will do something else. But for key press I only trigger one action. It's like it press go down and up and that's it. Okay, and also we have some like form event. So you know like sometimes we have the submit. So we already try to submit the form or sometimes if you want to change the input value, so we can use change to trigger it. And also we have some browser event including like load. Okay, so trigger the entire page including the image, so they load it or like resize, they change the windows. Okay, so that's why we can change the CSS if you remember. And we scroll, okay, when we scroll down, so the document scroll down, or sometimes when you scroll down we will have the arrow button pops out, go back to the top or somehow like this. So this will be the event. And if we have some touch-enabled devices, especially maybe we want it on the maybe the on the phone or the tablet or some notebook, they have a touchable screen. Okay, so all this maybe they call the touch start, touch move, and touch end. So we can check it. Okay, when the figure like touch the screen, so it's a start or they move. Then when the finger moving on the screen, and also when they end, that means the finger they move. We move from the screen. So there's like three event. And when we handle the event, so we can use the event listener. So okay, so it an event listener, so it's a function. So it was just like waiting for a specific event to occur on a specific element. So we're just waiting for it. Okay, so it's called the event handling. And to adding the event handling, you can look at here a similar code. So we can first we try to set up the constant button. Okay, this is the name. So equals to a document. So we get the element by ID. If you remember, we talked about the like what's the class, what's ID. So we give an ID. So code is then my button. And we try to add the event listener. So button and add the event listener. So we will listen to a certain event. Where this one is a click. So when the user click on it, so we have the function. Okay, this function we just give an alert. So it's a pretty simple way to showing, okay, the event listener is like functioning. Okay, we love to test like using the alert function, but after this, like for more advanced, of course, like after user click on it, maybe we try to submit. If you know that like submit, so it's another listen to submit and then submit the form to the server API server like this. Okay, or you can process and after you add it, then you maybe want to remove it, right? For some reason. Okay, so later on, if you want to remove it, then you can add the color remove event listener. After you add it, then you can remove it. So it's the same structure. So we just change the function to remove event listener, then it will be fine. And for the objects that relate to the event, so when an event occurs, so the event object is created. Okay, so if there's some contain some useful information about related to this event, so you can access it in your event handler. So when you pass the cake, if you remember, we have a button at event listener cake, right? So we have function. So these are parameters right here, event. So you can log the whole event object, or you can using dot notation to access to certain elements. So this one may be the target. So maybe the element that trigger the events will be the target over there. And I would recommend you, if you are working on it and building your website, if you need to build, then try to log and look all this like content. And we have also have the events delegation. So this one is the technique where when you attach a single event listener to a parent and element. So instead of multiple listener on the child event. So this is more like efficient, especially like for our dynamically create element. So we know like maybe we're using VN, or later if you're using the Angular or others, like we also want to create a parent. So if we have a list, so like the event like this, they have a list, and we try to add the event listener, and then we try to listen, okay, is that go to target, and then what's the tag name? Okay, if equals to the so you say you click on this, so you will give an alert, right? So you're giving the target text content. So it's like, okay, so we can create by the list. So everything like all the tag. Okay, if you remember, this one is the list, right? So all the list item, then with the li. So then when you click on it, then we can try to get the text content. Okay, so we don't have to like implement one by one. So it's the advantage. And also we can validate the form if we talk about the form. So it's a one of example, we can validate the form. So we have the form ID, so we give an ID, and then we try to have a input value, placeholder, and then there's a button, submit button. If you remember, there's an event, right? So right here, we try to get the element by the ID, my form, and then we save the form, right? And of course, we can add the event listener, submit. Okay, submit right here. So we can set the event, and we can validate right here. So we can get the like element by the name and check, okay, if the user input it, then user didn't input the name without, if the value is empty, that means like, okay, we choose by this one. If it does have a value, and so if we true and then we give it a not, so it goes to false, then we will just like okay, it will go to submit, so it will be fine. If not, that means like, okay, it doesn't contain a value, that means true. And if it doesn't contain, if we have a false value or empty, and then we go to false, then it becomes true. So that means that true, then we alert, and the name is required, and then maybe we'll prevent default. So we are not sending the data to the server, so we prevent the submission. So using prevent default right here, and just like here example, and we have the strings, like when we move on after the event. So another part is about the string. So we the sequence of characters, right, used to present a text. So the strings, they are immutable. So that means that we cannot change it once we create the string. So if we have a new one, that means we need to create new objects. Okay, and if we're using a code, a single code, double quotes, they're okay. Backtrack over here, so we can use that. If you remember the template a little, so we can use all this to create any string. Okay, and when we passing like this, like string 1, 2, like hello world, and then if we need to pass it as the parameter, like, let's say for string 3, and then add the string 2 right here, we can use the only one thing we need to use the template little, the backtrack for the template little. So we just remember this one, so you can pass it as a parameter. Okay, and there's a length, like is the properties of the string, so you can get the numbers of character in the string by returning like giving the length property, so it return it. So if you're using the string dot length, So you get how many characters contain. Sometimes if you need to write a for loop, okay, so you can use the string dot length. So you can like go like from the position 0 to maybe the length -1. So maybe like this, okay. And also we have some common string methods going to introduce, including the like to lowercase, convert of them to lowercase to uppercase, and also trim it. So we try to remove some white space, both like end of the string, okay, from the both end of the string. So if we have the like beginning white space right here, then you can use the trim, so you can remove it. Okay. Sometimes if you need to handle some like strings or characters, then it may be helpful for you. And also we can use the if we need to search for some content, so we can use the search index of. So index will return the first occurrence, okay, of the specific value. So if it couldn't find anything, it will return like -1. So the like the position. So if we have the string hello world and then we try to looking for the index world, then we can just count. Okay, maybe his answer 7. So you can just do again like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, but like the 7 location, but you need to know because the index is the start from 0. So right here will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So will be right here match. So the first character like 7, but like if you need to know the index, so just remember the index. So we start from like 0. Just be careful. And then also we have an include. If you want to looking for if a string they contain some specific substring, so it will return a value like true or false. So does it include something? So it may be helpful for you to searching, or if you want to match when user input for a name, or if you want to looking for some sensitive string, okay, content, then also you can use the string, okay. And or we can use the code that starts with or end with to check if they start with some specific substring or end with some specific string. So we can use these two methods, okay, and pass it. Okay, if it does contain a return true, and no, then return false. Okay, true or false. We use a lot sometimes for the replacing the substring like with a new one. So we can replace the first occurrence if you have an original string hello world, right? And then we try to replace the world to JavaScript. Okay, let's say like it. Then when we output the log the new script new string, so we say hello and then replace with the JavaScript will be like this. And I believe if you need to handle some string, then you maybe need to use replace function. And later after the years 2021, so they introduced and one called replace all. So this one can help us to replace all the occurrence. So you can just use the regular expression, okay, and let's say if we have the text, okay, but then we need to replace it. So replace all the A globally like to O. So they try to change all the A to O. So you will get a like or is it bonono like this, okay. And because like, if you remember in the old before the years like 2021, then you only replace the first occurrence, that first one appears. So here's the difference between it, okay. And then we use the split if you want to like split the string into an array of the substring. So it will be the, like based on the like specific delimiter. So if we have the content like this, and then if we want to split by the comma, okay, so all of them will split into the array and contain, okay, apple, banana, and cherry like this. Okay, so you can sometimes maybe they're not using comma, they can use space or other delimiter, so you can use it to split them to an array. You need to remember the output is the array. Okay, and with array splitting, then we may how can we join them together? Okay, so we can use the join. Okay, so if we have the array right here, the foot, right, so we split it, and then sometimes when we want to like combine them together to one single string, then we can add the specific separator. So you can like join and then like giving the space right here, and so you can see like join them to get apple and banana and cherry. So these are a useful like join function. And if you remember, we have the template literal. So this one using for the string will allow us to embed the expression. We're using the backtrack, so in that of a code, and then also it can support a multi-line, so you can use the backtracks really to span the multi-lines. Okay, so you can, if you're doing in this like 2 lines, so the JS are also read it, able to read it. So when they output, they will show the 2 lines. Okay, so it's pretty useful. And also we have the interpolation. Okay, so it can embed some variables and expression using this one. Like have a $sign, have the curly brackets right here, and then pass the expression. So right here you can pass the name. You say like Alice right here. You can say hello Alice, and then just send it. Output the console log greeting. Okay, and we also have some like tag template editor, so right here, so it can tag all the templates, so allow you to face the template editor with a function. So right here we have function tag, right? So we have a string, and if you remember, like we concatenate all the values when we output a string. So we select first the array of the string, this part, and value will be the array of the value. So we're coming together, and when you return the value, so you can do it in this way. Okay, so we're using the backtrack right here, temperature, and pass the, okay, what's the string value, and then also the value of the first one. So we can like customize all this format. And also we can like give it a tag, and when we this a tag function, so we're passing the hello, okay, and then the name, so concatenate together, so we can still output as a hello block like this. Is the result. So actually you see the tag is a function, but this one is missing the bracket, but depends on the syntax. But for nowadays, I would always recommend to giving a function, like giving a bracket. Okay, and then also we have some like the numbers in the JavaScript we need to handle it. So they are mainly the number representing as the floating point value. Okay, also they can present like both as an integer or decimal. So depends how we're going to use it. Sometimes when we compare the value, we will use something called a global property. Okay, so we can use some called the max value, mean value. Okay, so they will be the largest positive finite value, and the smallest positive finite value will be max and mean. Okay, if you want to work on some negative infinite, the number of positive infinite, so you can like using these two. And also if they are not a number, so not a number, then you can say NaN, so this one, so you can use, you will see right here the max value and then the minimum value, and you say, okay, if I want to get the maybe the negative finite value, then just like adding a negative sign to it, then it's okay. Okay, and also the numbers that those right here for decimal, we can say like decimal number 42, and then for the hexadecimal, and also we have binary. Okay, showing like right here representing 0 times like OB will be COB, so will be the binary or the article right here. So we have different ways of showing, and also we can use some like called the number constructor. So using passing number parameter, even it's a string, so it can convert to a number. Okay, and also we can create a new number object. So right here passing to save it. So but this one is not really recommend doing this one. So just using the convert to the number directly. So using the constructor, so it's like good enough. And also we have some like common methods we can use for number. So including like we want to check is it integer. Okay, check is the integer is not a number. Okay, so or like is a finite value. So we can like check all this. Okay, so all this will return true or false as output. And also if we want to like fix the decimal place, or we call that like fixed point of notation. So if we have the really long floating number, we want to fix it to decimal when you input 2, and then it will be like 3.14, so it will be like this. Okay, so we will remove the rest of them. Okay, and also we have the precisions, so we can like say format to a specific length. Okay, maybe the precision with 3. Okay, so 1 to 3, or like you can 5, then you can get it longer, like 3.1415 like this. Sometimes for the length is like they just like ignoring the decimal point. So we have total numbers. Okay, so depends on usage. Sometimes it's like you want to output the numbers in certain formats, then it's pretty useful. Or we can output as a to exponential. Okay, so we can change the value to exponential. So it's also possible. This one like the value was the exponential to it. So with the numbers in the exponential. So, and also we have some big in. Okay, so if we are really long um um a number integer, so we can use the begin. So it's the built-in object. So we can use the present the whole number larger than the 2 power of like 53 minus 1. So because we start from 0, right? So it will be a large like safe integer in JavaScript. So we can use the begin constructor to pass in. So we can use it. If you see some numbers like why it being trunk, okay, while we losing some value, that means the integer is not able to cover because it's bigger than 2 to power 53. Okay, minus 1. So there's a reason. So then you need to use the begin. And also you can maybe the n suffix. Okay, so you can use the n suffix to showing the begin. So you can put it, so we can also read it as a begin. And for begin, there's some common properties. So we can just use most of arithmetic operator. Okay, so most of them, but they can mix with the regular numbers. Okay, so without some explicit conversions, just remember. So if you need to convert it, then you can use the number and put the begin. So you lose, like if it's like really over, then we'll lose some values, right? And also if we convert the number to begin, that will be better, especially we need to calculate. Okay, maybe adding like begin with the number, then we need to convert the number to begin. So you can add them together. Okay, otherwise we will lose some like precision. So it's really possible. So just like be careful of it. And for the arithmetic, just like we can sum them together if they both of them are back in. If you remember, like we put in n, so showing the back end. So it's all good. So they also support like addition, subtraction, multiplication, also and division. So we can just use it as the same with regular numbers. Okay, and maybe the only like limitation or like you have to be like considerate because like, you cannot like direct mix them back in the numbers in expression. Just like one thing you cannot do that. Maybe like 5 and then back in like 10, then you will throw in an error if you try to output as the numbers back in. Okay, so just like you need to be careful. And also after we talk about the string and then numbers, okay, and also next one will be the date. You will handle a lot. So we will the date object. So we will present the date and time. Okay, so we can use for date multiplication and calculation. And when we try to create, so we do not require any argument. So we can like getting the current date. So we can just now and the new date. So we'll be obtain the the date with time. Okay, and then if you wanted to specific the date or time, then you can enter like maybe getting the year, month, hours, minute, second, or millisecond. So you can pass in all this. So which year, and then maybe November. So it's like the month is from 0 to 11. Okay, so start from beginnings will be 0. So that's why even November we enter 10. Okay, the date. Okay, which the hour and then minute the second. So it will be like this. Okay, and also we can accept the like from the data string. So if we're passing like in this format, if you remember, we have the year and then month and date with the T and then come with the time and okay. So also it can accept it to save it from the string. Okay, so also we can read it. And also we have some format. You will see representing this one is called the ISO 8601. This format, so it will be year, month, date, and then come with the T in the middle, and then come with the hours and minute, second. Okay, and sometimes we're showing the 3 digits of Z, so this one. And of course, you can customize, okay, or like the format. So you can format the data in any format you like to the local date string. So we can use this function to change it. And most pretty common, we want to get a component. So sometimes when we store the data in the data, like we're using the timestamp or the date format. So in this one, but we are just interested about certain numbers, or maybe just only the year. So we want to get the full years. So we'll be in 4 digits years, and or the function like get month, it will return a month like indexes from 0 to 11, or the date 1 to 31, or the get date. So it will be the date of the week. It will be representing using the 0 to 6. So if you see, okay, if the number, maybe 0, then is representing is 1, okay, and then if you see like maybe one, that means two, that means you have to pass one. So just be careful. The month and get month and get date is showing in this one. Okay, when you need to use them. And when you getting like, let's say we have get the current date, okay, and then we try to get the full year, 4 digits years, and then get month, we return 10. Okay, if 10, that means we need to know, okay, it's November. Okay, we need to get date. So date is fine. Okay, 3rd of November, and then we need to get date. And the get date and get date. And for day, if you see 5, that means it's the Friday. Okay, 6 is Saturday. Okay, and then go back to Sunday. Sunday will be 0. Okay, just be careful of this part. And when you're passing the all these method, you need to set the we have a getting method, and then of course we can have a set the method. Okay, so we can say like set full years. Okay, set the year, set month, set date, set hours, set minutes, and also set seconds. Okay, so that means that when you even create the date object, but you just have empty input, then you can set them one by one. Okay, or you need to modify it. So it's possible. And also we have other components like maybe we create an object like say like future days, so we can set the full years, set the month. So just remember for month we need to pass in the number. For January will be start from 0, and December will be 11. Okay, and set the date. So if first just 1, okay, and then you can log it, so it will output the date as what you save. Okay. And also for dates, we can have some arithmetic we can calculate. We can add the dates, subtract the date, so we can adjust by the milliseconds. Okay, so when you calculate, you can, let's say, get the time. Okay, now and get the time. Okay, so it's one of the function get the time. And then just remember, if for one day we have 24 hours, 60 minutes, right? 60 minutes and 60 seconds. And because they are milliseconds, so you need to times 1000. So this will be one day. So if you need to like change it to maybe a month or 1 year, then you need to times like this for one day. And then if you need to change your year like 365, then it will become 1 year. So that's the way we calculate. And when we try to use get time, so actually it's get the time value in milliseconds. Just like be careful. And then it's like since the January 1st, like 1917. So if you try to get like current time and get the time, so will be the one it will give you numbers, okay, and then we save we call the timestamp. And of course, like once you receive it, we can like change it to our preferred format, so we can convert. You can use it to local data string, so we can use your specific string. Okay, so let's say you define the options and passing the year, and then you say it's a numeric, and then month is the long, and also the date is the numeric, then it will output. So once you're using the now that means the current time to the local date string and passing. Okay, so this one using the US time, and then we passing the options, so it will be the year, month, and date. But there the numeric, that means the number, and long will be for the long character string month. Okay, so we're using the US format, so it will be the month, date, and then comma with the year. So here's the to the local date string. Of course, we can change it to the ISO string. Okay, so also we can output to an ISO string when we get the current time and pass it. So we can get the like 2023 and then November, and then the date. Okay, giving the time. Okay, and then come with the 3 digits, and then we'll see. So this one is the ISO format. And also we can handle the time zone. Also, you see the UTC, right? So also we can get the UTC full years and UTC month, okay, etc. When you see, okay, change it. So once you get the UTC full year, so you can return it the year. So pretty similar, just repeating, but this one will come with the time zone handling, so you can use it as adding the UTC method. And also you can set some like the time zone offset. Okay, so when you want to add the offset, so you can add this option to format the date. So in a specific time zone, when you're passing it, we of course using US time option. For this one time zone, maybe using the American New York time. Okay, or if you can use the, let's say, Dallas time, Chicago time, because they're the same time. And then of course, that maybe you want to follow the LA, okay, over there, so it's okay. And also, just remember, just like be careful. We have the zero-based month index, so always generally start from 0 December 11. Okay. Also, the data pairing issue, just be careful. Like, because of string format, so we maybe use the ISO format to avoid the cumulative. Okay, and just be careful. And so very quickly, we just went through all this content. For the next slides, I will carry for the um next kind of like our last lecture. And also actually I give you some like supplement content, so you maybe follow it. Okay, so actually that one is like for testing, doing a unit test for your the API server testing. Make sure the code I will give you some sample code, you just execute and maybe have some like have fun to like try to do it, because I know maybe you're busy on your project, so I don't want to giving you a last assignment like too much workload. So I give you some really pretty easy one. I just enjoy it fun. Okay. Have a good one. Thank you.